Today we're going to start talking about transformations in the coordinate plane. We've already looked at a bunch of these with different types of graphs that we've been talking about, but now we're going to look at them with various shapes, so we're moving more towards the geometry end of reflection, rotation, and translation. So a lot of times, all kinds of designs that are used in art and architecture and all different kinds of applications, we have transformations that are used over and over again. That's what creates a pattern. A transformation is a change in the position, size, or shape of a figure. The original figure is called the pre-image because it's before anything's been done to it, so it's the pre-image. The resulting figure is called the image. A transformation maps the pre-image to the image. Arrow notation is used to describe a transformation, and primes, or little apostrophes, are used to label the image. So here we have some triangles where we have triangle. That little triangle sign in front of the letters means that you're labeling a triangle. So triangle ABC is transformed, we use the arrow, into triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. And you can see how A moves to A prime, B moves to B prime, and C moves to C prime. And this would be a translation because we're just moving it over and down a little bit. So we have a couple different types of transformations, which again we have already looked at, but now we're doing them with shapes. A reflection, or a flip, is a transformation across a line called the line of reflection. Previously we've had the x and y axis for the line of reflection, but you can have any line for the line of reflection. Each point and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. A rotation, or turn, is a transformation around a point P called the center of rotation. Each point and its image are the same distance from P. A translation, or slide, is a transformation in which all the points of the figure move the same distance in the same direction. So here we want to identify the transformation, then use arrow notation to describe the transformation. If we look at our pre-image, ABC, triangle ABC, and the image, triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, we can see that it has rotated to get from the image to the pre-image. Okay, it can't be a reflection because there's no line that's reflecting it. It is in fact a 90-degree rotation, which is a little bit more specific than you can need to be. You can just say it's a rotation. And when we use arrow notation, we say triangle ABC becomes, we use the arrow, triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Here we want to identify the transformation, then use arrow notation to describe the transformation. Here we have a reflection around the line, the x-axis. So here we have a reflection because all of the points are being flipped over. It can't be a translation because each point and its image are not in the same relative position, which means that F is not on the bottom corner anymore. Okay, so if this was a translation moved down, F would still be the bottom right corner, but here it's not. So it's a reflection, not a transformation. And if we use arrow notation, we have DEFG, the rectangle, goes to D prime, E prime, F prime, G prime. Here we want to look at different transformations, then use arrow notation to describe the transformation. For letter A, we can see that we are moving over and down, so this is a translation, and it would be MNOP goes to M prime, N prime, O prime, P prime. Over here, because it's facing a different direction, we have a rotation. Triangle XYZ becomes triangle X prime, Y prime, Z prime. Here we want to be able to draw and identify transformations, so the picture may not always be drawn for you. So we have a figure with vertices. Remember, vertices are corners at A, 1, negative 1, B, 2, 3, and C, 4, negative 2. So the first thing we have to do is plot the points. So the figure on the right is our pre-image. After a transformation, the image of the figure has vertices at A prime, negative 1, negative 1, B prime, negative 2, 3, and C prime, negative 4, negative 2. If we plot those, that is the figure on the left. Now that we see this, we can see that it is a reflection around the y-axis because it's flipped over. So each of the points are the same distance from the y-axis. A is 1 point away, B is 2 points away, and C is 4 points away. Here's another example where we have a figure with vertices at E, 2, 0, F, 2, negative 1, G, 5, negative 1, and H, 5, 0. Go ahead and take a minute, pause the video if you need to, and go ahead and plot these points on the pre-image and the image, and then check your work with the graph. Here's our two rectangles. If we look at these two rectangles, it's not a reflection, and it doesn't look like a translation because it's not facing the same direction, so it must be a rotation. To find coordinates for the image of figure in a translation, we add A to the x coordinate and B to the y coordinate of the pre-image, which we've already learned in previous units. Previously we used H when we added it to x and K when we added it to y. This is the same rule. So if we want to find the coordinates for the image of a triangle ABC after the translation, x, y goes to x plus 2, y minus 1, we want to draw the image. Now this would mean that each x moves to the right 2 and each y moves down 1. So if you wanted to use the graph, you could go ahead and count over 2, down 1 from each of the 3 points, or you can go ahead and plug them in. So first thing they did was they went ahead and graphed the triangle because that'll be extremely helpful. Okay, so those are the vertices, negative 4, 2, negative 3, 4, and negative 1. The next thing we want to do is apply the rule to find the vertices of the image. So we take negative 4 plus 2 and 2 minus 1, so we're adding 2 to x, subtracting 1 from y, and the same all the way down through b and c. And then the last thing we want to do is graph the new image. And if you notice, B has moved over 2 down 1, A did move over 2 down 1, and C also moved over 2 down 1. So we know that we did all of the translations right, and our image looks like it has been translated. Okay, so take some time on our lesson quiz, see if you can get these answers taken care of, and we'll do similar questions like this tomorrow in class.